Hey, what's going on, guys? Today we're back for another episode of Kenshi. In the last episode, we finally successfully sieged Rebirth, recovering Hex as well as a few other prisoners. Now we're working our way out of Rebirth, heading back to our base camp so we can fully heal our wounds. As well, we'll be able to arm some of our new companions with any of the gear that we were able to collect along the way. The fall of Rebirth just marks the start of our war against the Holy Nation. As we're making our way back down south, we plan to raid as many Holy Nation camps and structures as we can. If you're liking the content though, please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and let's get into this. Now that we finally exited Rebirth, the prisoners that were following us officially decided to join us. However, being prisoners for as long as they have, they're mostly starving. We need to get them fed and rested as quickly as we can. Now that we finally made it back to our camp, it's time to begin our healing session. It's going to take us probably about 2 days to fully heal up all of our wounds, but after that we'll begin heading out once again. 2 days of resting later, and we're finally ready to continue on with our adventure. During the Siege of Rebirth, one of our bandit recruits lost a leg. It's very unfortunate, but we're going to have to find him a new leg as quickly as we can. But until then, he's just going to remain as dead weight, and we're going to have to carry him around with us. Our next objective, though, will be a Holy Military Base. This will be a big step up as far as military strength. They should have a decent amount of paladins and inquisitors there, while Rebirth's force largely consisted of the Holy Sentinels. However, we needed to be able to take out the paladins easily if we intend to bring down the Holy Nation. Arriving outside of the Holy Nation military camp, we begin setting up our base camp once again. It's vital that we have a solid base camp with plenty of beds set up. That way we can heal up our soldiers. Without it, we're basically left stranded and will likely bleed out. We heard stories about this area from some of the local barkeeps. This Holy Nation camp is bordering what's known as the Foglands, which is the home to the notorious Fogmen. It's a group of hivers that have lost their queen and have just gone rogue. We have even heard of a city stronghold being in the center of the Foglands, with them desperately trying to hold back the Fogmen the entire time. We might need to check that out when we have some time. I'm a bit concerned going in though, as people say going in is the easy part and then leaving is the hard part. And if you get caught off, the Fogmen will quickly kidnap you and then start eating you alive. However, as part of our crusade to bring order back to Kenshi, we're going to need to address the Fogmen sooner or later. However, back to the war. We were wanting to top off our injuries as we ran into some trouble along the way here, and just wanted to ensure that all of our soldiers were good. However, in the process of us healing, we were attacked by a Holy Nation patrol. We might have been too close to the road with this camp, but this gives us a good opportunity to start fighting and training against these paladins. The paladins and Holy Nation sentinels have really good defenses, with very strong heavy plate armor. It'll be tough at first to start taking them out, but as we get stronger and stronger it should become easier. Additionally, we're going to continue taking their armor as much as we can. That way we can get more on a level playing field with their soldiers. This patrol appeared to be one paladin and then the rest were Holy Sentinels, or just slave recruits. It's honestly a great patrol to start fighting first. I don't know if we'd be able to take on an Inquisitor yet, which would be wearing the red Holy Nation armor. They're some of the strongest fighters in the Holy Nation's army, and we know that there's going to be at least a few of them stationed here, and likely as well there'll be a few patrols probably approaching and leaving the city. It's imperative that we strengthen our army as quickly as we can before we encounter them. That way we'll actually be able to face them and not get defeated. It'll only take our army being defeated one time to fully be enslaved by the Holy Nation once again. The one paladin single-handedly managed to take out several of our soldiers. As well, he managed to keep fighting all the way until sunset. We definitely need to get stronger very quickly. For now though, we just need to focus on healing up our injuries as quickly as we can before the next patrol arrives. That single paladin really worked us over well. By the next morning, a group of bone dogs arrived with bloodlust, coming to try to eat some of our wounded warriors. I'd have no problem with them if they were just coming to clean up some of the Holy Nation corpses, but given that they're after our warriors, they need to be put down quickly. It takes us another day to fully heal up our wounds, and by dawn of the next morning it's finally time to begin our attack on this Holy Nation military camp. Our strategy will be very similar to when we were fighting Rebirth. We're fighting many superior warriors, so we can't just attack them head on. We'll try to get their attention and then bring them far away from the city, outside of range of their turret defenses. That way we'll be able to fight them on our terms, and then easily fall back when needed. Unfortunately though, when we were falling back to reposition our soldiers to begin the fight, Bark got nailed in the chest by a crossbow and immediately went down. And that is why we try to stay outside of the turret's range for now. Those things are incredibly deadly and will cause you to bleed out very quickly. If you're not there to apply medical aid quickly, then it's just almost a certain death. One of our medics, Billy, bravely rushes out to try to grab him so he can pull him back over to our camp, while the rest get ready to deal with the oncoming wave of guards headed our way. With us grouped up, it's time to begin the fight. It appears like we grabbed most of the gate guards with our initial pull, as well as potentially a few other stragglers that were nearby. Using guerrilla tactics like this is vital to fighting a superior foe that outnumbers you. Our goal is just to slowly whittle away the Holy Nation's forces until there's a reasonable amount left in the camp, and then we'll storm our way through to clear the rest. Let's just hope that we can make it through this fight without losing any more limbs, though. The Holy Nation has some pretty strong weapons that cause a lot of bleed and have pretty solid range, able to hit many people at once, which is partially why they're such a big threat. As this war continues, we're going to need to try to upgrade our armor and weapons as much as we can. With our first fight starting to wrap up, we begin collecting weapons from the fallen Holy Nation soldiers. It's important we do this in every fight right now, at least while we're still relatively weak. That way, in case any of them wake up, they don't have any more weapons to defend themselves, making it easy to knock them down once again. It might be a little bit dishonorable, but all is fair in love and war. Fuman and Billy are also on standby, healing everybody as quickly as they can, as needed. Without their constant heals throughout this whole war, I don't know if we've been able to make it as far as we have. Falling back to camp though, it's time for another quick healing session. We continue healing for about another day. We also set up some campfires so we could begin cooking those skull dogs that we killed earlier. It's important to resupply our food any chance we get. We got a lot of hungry warriors and this crusade's not going to end anytime soon. We need to be able to sustain ourselves as best as we can. Just as we were almost fully healed, we get attacked by another Holy Nation patrol that was making its way towards that military camp. We definitely might have put our base camp a little too close to the road, but hindsight's 20/20 and that doesn't change the fact that we're under attack right now. So we quickly jump into action and begin fighting back against this Holy Nation patrol. Luckily, once again, the majority of their warriors are Holy Nation slaves, so it's not much of a fight. However, they still do have the one Holy Nation paladin, which continues to prove a significant obstacle against our warriors. The High Paladin is the warrior that's wearing the more white and yellow armor, and each one of these patrols are led by the High Paladin. As soon as we're able to take him down, we need to loot all of his gear off him immediately. It's generally some high quality armor, plus we don't need him waking up and fighting us again. At this point though, the regular paladins aren't too much for us to take out. It's just mostly the high paladins that are the issue. Thankfully though, with these patrols coming in, it gives us the opportunity to train on a few of them, without the risk of fighting the entire holy military camp over there. However, the military base is still our primary objective right now, and we need to be able to get ahead of these fights. That way we can actually proceed in confidently and be able to take out those turrets. Thankfully, we haven't come across any of the Inquisitors yet, but we do know that they patrol down this route, so it is a possibility. We may need to end up moving our camp though. If our camp remains a battlefield, then we're not going to be able to continue healing our warriors. And eventually, if we continue getting attacked, then we're not going to be able to sustain ourselves, and eventually we will get taken prisoner. However, that's a future problem. Right now, we just still need to deal with the warriors facing us. We were nearly fully healed at the start of this fight, and at this point, we've already lost many of our warriors. Those high paladins are a serious threat, and we really need to be cautious around them, at least until our warriors become more on par with them. Right now, they're way higher level than us. After the fight wrapped up, we began tending to our wounds as normal. However, what we didn't notice is that one of the Holy Nation paladins was actually pretending to be dead. Seeing an opportunity, the paladin woke up and immediately kidnapped one of our fallen warriors, rushing him inside of the military camp. Unfortunately, we were too busy healing to notice him right away, and our warriors are still far too injured to be able to actually catch up with him. Many of them have injured legs and aren't able to actually run. None of our warriors will be left behind, and now we're going to absolutely crush these Holy Nation people. We cannot allow any more slavery in Kenshi, and the Holy Nation seems adamant on forcing it. Thankfully, they're tending to Tengu's wounds, so he's not at risk of dying. However, they did take his weapon, though, so we're going to need to find a new one to replace that with. For now, we just need to bide our time, though. Tengu won't be going anywhere, and if they try to transport him to Rebirth, then we'll immediately intercept the patrol and get Tengu back. For now, though, we just need to make sure we tend to our wounds and get ready for another fight. It will be a challenge to get Tengu back, though, because until we can actually fight through the fortress, he's pretty deep in there and we won't be able to actually easily get to him. It took us another 2 days to fully recover our wounds, largely due to the fact that we were attacked by some hungry bandits during the night, which further injured our warriors. Now that we're finally recovered though, it's time to make another push on the Holy Nation military camp. However, this is where I'm going to end things off for today. We successfully rescued Hex and escaped from Rebirth. We then continued to push south towards the next Holy Nation structure along our way, beginning our assault on the Holy Nation military camp, where we then lost another one of our warriors due to slavery, Tengu, who was captured and then enslaved. The Holy Nation continues to try to enslave us every chance they get, as if this fight wasn't already personal enough. We need to put a stop to them. Will we be able to free Tengu and conquer this military camp? Find out in the next video. And if you're enjoying the content, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and thank you for watching.